All right, welcome everybody to Tarot 2 with me as your guide. I hope you had a great week getting to know your cards, and I want to encourage you to share any questions or concerns that might have come up one at a time, please, with your readings last week. And we'll start with Deborah because she was first in the group.
Oh, yay. I really don't have any questions on the cards. I thought it was quite awesome, actually. Because what I would do is I'd pull the cards and then I would look at them and then I would write down what I was feeling, what I was getting.
Good.
And then I'd go to the book and then I'd read it and see, you know, how close or not so close I was. And I did very well, actually. I don't know, maybe it's easier reading yourself than someone else, but I did really well with it. The only thing that I haven't been able to feel yet is when you put the cards out, you know, in the 3 decks. I haven't been able to really feel which one to pick up first.
Okay.
So
right.
That's kind of it for me. I mean, I thought it went really well.
So you might try the potential. Did anybody else have that same situation where you couldn't feel the cards?
I have something that I have been taught that might help, because some people don't feel energy the same way. And sometimes it won't appear as a heat. It'll actually show up as a drawing sensation. The cards that are drawing your energy into them are the ones that you need to pick up. And the ones that are expelling energy out of them are the ones that just stay there. So, yeah, like you'll feel like a drawing sensation. Like, it's almost like your hand's in a wind tunnel, but not quite that strong. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Now you could also just cut the, you know, do your shuffle, cut the deck, and move forward.
Okay.
So there's a couple of ways and techniques that you can use until the sensitivity in your hand, if it's meant to be that way.
Right.
If it's meant to be that way, you might just know I need the middle deck. You might just know that.
Okay.
Okay. And so another technique that readers use, and this will be all dependent upon you. You can have the seeker, when you have a seeker, cut the deck and hand it back to you, and then you go based on that.
Okay. That's how my mom used to do it.
Yeah. So that's another way. But I would encourage you not to use that deck for yourself then, if you're going to have other people touch it. Get a separate deck just for you.
Okay.
Okay? Because you don't want the energy. Although you can clear it, you want to dedicate one deck for yourself and one for the public at large.
Okay.
Okay? Anybody else have anything they want to share? Miss Tricia, thank you.
I just wanted to clarify what you just said.
Yes.
So even if nobody ever touches it, you are saying have a separate deck for your own reading than you would for a reading anybody else?
No, only if they touch the deck. Only if you happen to be a reader who says, okay, cut the deck, shuffle and cut, and take it back. That's the only time I would say use a separate deck.
Okay.
Now, some readers may use a separate deck anyway. I personally don't. But you may still, if you're going to go out in the public at large, you may want to get a separate deck. It's all an individual thing, and you'll know whether or not you want to use that for yourself anymore.
Okay.
If you when you start doing as many readings as I do, you don't do as many readings for yourself anymore either. You actually forget. I know I have. But that was a great question. Thank you. Okay, so how about you, Miss Shelley? What do you have to report from your experience with the deck?
I enjoyed it. I had a great time. I had no problem feeling the heat, but there were many times it's like I felt heat from all three of them. So when I broke them up into three, so then I just would go with what I was drawn to. But they've been pretty right on. So I was kind of impressed.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Brandy is in silent mode. So when she comes back on, we'll go to her. But I'm going to go to Angela first and then Brandy.
Yeah, I got my deck in the mail this week. So I had a whole, I wasn't expecting anything to happen. Nothing had happened with other decks that I've got, like Oracle card decks, apart from what I really felt my energy draw into the deck before I purchased it. Then I bought it because I knew it was my deck. But when this deck showed up, I didn't have an immediate reaction to it, but it was more of a gradual building up reaction to it. It sort of, I had a massive amount of downloads come through, energy absorption for me, like just all around my body. That night I had a massive dream and I woke up with this wet sensation on top of my head. So that was really strange, and it was just really out there. I was sort of surprised at how strong the energies were. They were just very, very strong. So that was quite interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's been good so far. I've had no issues drawing cards or anything. They're working just fine. So
Good.
yeah.
So it's the perfect deck for you.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, Brandy, give us a little bit of your experience with your cards.
Okay. Well, I feel good. Like the cards feel good. Everything feels natural. It just flows. I really took a lot of time, like when I was drawing cards, just getting to know the suits. I did the 3-card draws that you suggested for the week. Like the last person who just spoke said, I noticed a major change in my whole week, just how I've been on time. I'm always running late. But my whole morning routine has just flowed and it's been way better. So I really feel like that has a lot to do with it. And I'm like a night owl, so it's hard for me to go to bed. So even nights like 2, so I'm up till 2 in the morning, I still get up and I have a good routine in the morning. So it's really good energy.
Great. Oh, that's really exciting. It's really exciting. And, don't be afraid, to continue to look. I might have found a whole new deck. Not that I need any more decks, but I was introduced to another tarot deck from a student in the last class that had a nice feel to it, a nice energy. So just briefly, a reminder about the suits. You have the major arcana, which are influences from the divine realm. You have very little control over them happening. It's basically a heads up in preparation of impending events. The minor arcana really pertain to your day-to-day activities, and it covers the suit of swords, which is in your thinking life, the suit of cups, which is in your emotional life, or emotional people, or highly analytical and detail-oriented people if it's in the swords. Then you have the suit of wands, which typically refers to our creative aspirations, can have to do with relationships. And then we get to the suit of pentacles, which usually has to do with your 3D reality, finances, home, I want to say goods, but the stuff that you have around you. So those are the 4 suits that we're dealing with. And so when you see the cards come up, if you ask a money card question and you get the pentacles and they want to talk to you about the money, But if you ask a money question and it gives you, you know, the swords, then you may have to pull another card for clarity. So it might have to do with your thoughts about money, or maybe it's a belief system about money, or the origin of how you learned about money, which all plays a role in how we process the energy of finances. Money, Pentacles also represents the resources we have as far as time and energy. So resources aren't always confined to money. It could have to do with having the time to go spend with the grandchildren or the children, whatever your case may be. Or maybe it means I have time to spend with my family, or I have time to take care of me. And that's a resource, and that has a dollar value that we very rarely notice. So I'm just giving you that as an additional kind of information on the decks, on the different suits in the decks. So the purpose of these homework assignments, to do them the best that you can as you're moving forward, is to familiarize yourself with the deck, with the energy, with the readings, and with where you're at in your life. Because you'll start to notice patterns as you pull your cards. So you might have a week that's emotionally filled. And emotionally doesn't necessarily mean negative emotions. It could be, love filled, abundance filled in that area. But if you get a reading with a suit from each one, then we have to really I want to say, go into a place of center and say, I'm not sure what you're saying to me. Help me. And you will find the first thought that comes to mind. That's why I encourage you to journal it and journal what happens, so that you can have a feel for the different ways in which they'll try to communicate you using the deck. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, when you are doing the reading, there's a couple of other things that you want to notice. How do you feel? Are you getting additional images? Are you getting sentences, or just plain words? Because this is including all of your senses. So it wouldn't be uncommon that you get overwhelmed with heat. Typically, for me personally, heat in the top of my head is the Holy Spirit. Heat that encompasses my whole body when I'm doing a reading, that usually only happens when I'm reading for others, tells me that they're in an empath battle, or an empath energy. You might have heard me say that, I'm sensing that there might be some energies draining you. Or to people that were new, or when I was getting it all the time with new psychics, it has slowed down, because now it doesn't matter to me if you're a psychic or not, but for whatever reason, they wanted me to be more acquainted with it. So that those energies, although they're still present, they're not as fierce as they were when I first started doing those live streams. In those live streams, I could have picked 10 readers. Now, for whatever reason, it's kind of slowed down. I'm assuming that everybody is a reader, and that might be why. Everybody has the psychic abilities. It may also be that the timing isn't right for some of them to step into their calling, whereas last year it was. Last year, we were in a certain portal. So, the tarot is one system. You may be inspired to pull into it some astrological systems. You may be inspired to pull into it, like I do, Reiki energy, chakra systems, understanding the energy system. You may pull into it, the solar, like the moon cycles. I started doing that over the last 6-7 months, more and more. So just kind of be open to how they're intuiting, using you to intuit or messages. So did you have any visions or you know, like, well, that's weird kind of moments while you were doing your readings?
For me, I get, anytime I'm doing speaking with spirit guides or doing these cards now as well, I get heat. I mean, I get a lot of heat. And that happened again during this week when I'm doing my cards.
Right.
So for some reason I pull heat. Even by myself, I'm pulling heat in.
Uh-huh.
And then you're talking about the words or sentences. I get sentences.
Yeah.
Not just words. I do get sentences, and I do get images.
Okay. Excellent. I love that. Also, you might get a vibration of tingling in your ears. You know that what they call tinnitus isn't always tinnitus.
Yeah, I do get the ringing still.
Yeah, it's a frequency that it usually just gives me a pause to say thank you to my angels, and it disappears. Again, not as frequent. What is happening more frequently is when I'm praying and reading for people, I start to feel whatever's going on in their body. So, or in their energy field, as well as physically in their body. So that's come out much more strong in my readings, particularly my private ones. After I've prayed, I can feel like there's stress in the neck, or there's something going on in the throat chakra. I could feel there's anxiety in the stomach. I could feel that when there's a headache. It doesn't stay, it just comes and it goes. But over the course of time, things will shift and change while you do this work. It's progressive. It's not stagnant. It's not stationary. It's fluid. And so everything that happens is gonna, you know, it's just another elevation of the awakening process. Okay. Any questions on any of that so far?
I think I'm too focused on interpretation
Okay.
rather than like what I'm feeling. I mean, it's exciting. I get excited, you know, by the cards that I'm pulling, but I'm not getting a lot of other energies coming in. And I think it's because my focus is on the learning rather than the being.
Okay. All right. And so in this week, when we're moving ahead, you're going to focus on the being and the learning. So keep your little cheat sheet close by. But I kind of want to encourage you, because the cards are there as symbolic. And once we understand what the symbols mean, as we get better at doing this, we understand what the symbols mean, and then they can use those symbols to give us more messages. The symbolism of the cards, plus and it may be like, well, that doesn't always represent that, so I wonder why I'm getting that message. We don't have to question it, because the symbolism that might come through in a reading, like I may have given you the example last week of a bulldozer that showed up in a reading. I wouldn't normally say that, but it came out because somebody else had said that is related to him. And I think he found it curious, how the hell would she say something that somebody else would say? And I would never accuse somebody of that, right? But that's what happened. And it just kind of blew his mind. So I wouldn't worry about, like, when you do the readings, you know, filtering too much, because you're here to intuit a message. And I still say it, I don't know why I say it, but I'll say it oftentimes, does that make sense? That's just part of my dialogue now. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I don't know why it comes out that way, but you can say that to somebody. Does that make sense? Does that resonate for you? Any questions about that? Because when you do one-on-one readings, you have a little bit more leeway to engage somebody. When you do them the way I do them, you don't really have that. Sometimes you can see the comments and sometimes you can't. You want to trust that the messages that you're getting are divine for that person. Your relationship trust has to be with God and your desire to be a vessel. So early on in reading, in doing readings, even for my own self, I always had an oracle deck on the side as a clarifying deck. Because somehow, sometimes it's like a bridge in the message. Now, in some readings, depending on when called, I have 3 different tarot decks on my desk at all times. And then 3 oracle decks on my desk at all times. And the 3 oracle decks, the 3 tarot decks, one is an angel tarot deck from Radleigh Valentine, because sometimes the messages in there are definitely a lot more gentle than what may come up in the tarot reading. Not that my messages are harsh by any stretch of the imagination, but it gives another, like, sometimes it's that preposition that helps the person get it. It sparks the aha moment. The readings, when you're doing them, are pulling from the subconscious. They're not necessarily pulling from your conscious mind. And so when it doesn't make sense, it's because it's pulling something for your awareness. So don't underestimate or downplay a reading. Just say, you know what, open my eyes, make me aware of what's coming forward. And this way, you're really developing a dialogue, saying, listen, dude, I don't know what you're talking about here. Can you make it a little bit more clear for me? But I can tell you that readings that I had done a year prior from somebody who was my very first and only reader for most of my life, because I didn't allow just anybody in. She had found that she had predicted that crash of 2006, that market crash. And she told me to save money and to be frugal. And I didn't listen to her. Nope, I didn't. And sure enough, everything that she said in that reading came to pass.
Wow.
So I never underestimate anymore the messages, because it may be something for a later time. So if you take a look, and you know what brought this to my awareness is if you take a look at the prophets in the Bible, some of what they predicted was 200, 300, 400, 500 years in the future, like the coming of Jesus. So our gifts and abilities, depending on how we're guided, right now it's only for the short term, but you don't know that you won't be called for the long term by writing a book. It's not unheard of. Crazy to think about, right?
Yeah.
You might
Yeah.
be the next, who is the one who did the readings for the presidents? Can't remember her name right now. But the real way to master the card is to just go take it, step by step, run, read the cards, read your messages, and then put it down. Let that settle into your system. And the more you practice, the more it becomes second nature. And so we're going to continue the practicing for next week. Now, do all of you have an opportunity to print out your cheat sheet? Your shortcuts?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's up to you on your time. If you have less time, use the shortcut sheet. If you have more time, read the stories in the book that come with your tarot decks. The stories in the book also help remember the cards. You may develop your own story about a card that helps you remember the card. That's why I encourage you to journal. Because you might find that it shows up in the future weeks as whether it's a prophecy or fact. Oh, that's a fact. I'm a little bit, all over the place. The Wheel of Fortune moved in my favor and now I can't keep up with it. I'm like on the bottom getting run over at the moment. So I feel like sometimes I'm at the bottom, I'm like, okay, help, I gotta get up. And then it turns. So all the cycles, by the way, of the cards, that's exactly what it is. It's a cycle. And while we're in the midst of an energy, it's not like we can't undo, unlike, the major arcana are usually influences we can't control. But if I know that I'm in the potential conflict with another human being by a page or a night, I also know that I have the power to control how I respond to that person. That's important because when you talk to a seeker, you can say, okay, so I know that they're showing me this person with this empathy, and the way you handle it is going to make a big difference on how this translates. But always be true to yourself. It's one of the lessons that we always want to teach is be true to yourself. That shows up in readings too. The Devil card would show up in a conflicted situation, and it typically represents a codependent state or addiction of some form. Codependency is an addiction, essentially. We just don't call it that necessarily.
Pamela, does it that fears and doubts or insecurity as well?
If it's showing up in the Devil card, it has gone overboard. It has gone into detriment. That's what the Devil card is saying. It's detrimental that you are aware of this at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So worry, as an example, affects the body, affects the bloodstream, affects the organs. So worry and stress will cause physical harm, ultimately, in a prolonged state.
Yeah. Okay.
So the answer is yeah. Now, if it's, not so, you would wind up with like the 10 of Swords or the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Swords is overthinking. And if I had a reading, if I can remember the reading. I had a reading today. It had to do with the finances, feeling a sense of lack, and then I had the Devil card. So we can block energy. We can block finances. I think I talked about this earlier. And I might have talked about it earlier because I had that vision in my head of this reading of the cards of the lack position in the 5 of Pentacles and the Devil card. And if we continue to have fear over money, we're going to wind up continuously down the rabbit hole. If we pause there and say, okay, everything flows to me easily and peacefully, then you're on the way back up to the positive. As an example. So you want to take a look at, so the cards aren't necessarily meant to be read one at a time. They're read in conjunction with what is aspecting it, is what they say, or surrounding it. So if you pull the past, the present, or future card, and you were a little confused about, well, are they referring to this from the past or that? Then you can pull another card and ask that question while you're shuffling. Set that intention of what is it? Let's say, is it about work? And you shuffle the cards, and not ask it 2 or 3 questions, but one question. It's important that you remember you set the intention and stick with that one question, or you will wind up with a confusing reading. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So set the intention always when you're pulling, whether you're reading for yourself or you're reading for somebody else. Sometimes you'll hear me when I'm, I don't know what you guys hear because I don't replay any of those live streams, although I've been told I'm supposed to, but I don't. You'll hear me say, what about the relationship? How can we be helpful with information about the relationship? And I'll repeat it a couple of times. Usually repeating it 3 times is a good rule of thumb, because 3 in Eastern is it's like a mantra. And so, what do you need me to know for today? How can I be helpful today? Or how can I be of service? Would be the same thing, just using different words. Now that I said that, it'd be interesting for me to play back videos to see if I actually do it 3 times. You know, now I'm going, wow, that's interesting. But because I'm trained in Reiki, that's been the thing that's showing up. Everything for me anyway is in 3s. So when I did the research on repeating the mantras in Reiki 3 times, it made sense to me that it would then create this, like, this chant, if you will. Which, by the way, chants are for the purpose of connection. Mantras are for connection to the divine. So don't be afraid to ask the question 3 times. Don't worry about what you're going to look like if you're doing this with somebody else, because this is you connecting to source. So there's a couple of ways that we connect, and I connect 2 or 3 times in one reading, starting with the prayer. I might smudge or sage the space. More often than not, I do, but then I go into a prayer. And then I go into the shuffling of the cards, and then I set the intention and ask the question. So there's like 4 different things that are happening when we're going to reading, because we're pulling ourselves into their realm. Does that make sense?
You have to ask a question.
It's helpful to set an intention on the reading. So whether you ask a question or set the intention, I want to be guided for today, or I want to be guided for the next 3 days, it's still putting out there what you're asking them to speak to you about. So again, that goes with trying to get into alignment. So sometimes you'll hear me ask the question, do you have a specific question, or is this general? Even if it's a general reading, it's still a question. Show us what we need to know moving forward. It's still an intention. What information does Deborah, as an example, need to help her move forward in the next couple of weeks? And then I have a spread. And in the spread, it's like it's instructions or it's guidance. So yeah, definitely have an intention. Even if they don't have a specific question, and most people start with not having a question and then go into questions. Please help us guide, because we said I want to be a vessel in our intention. Show me how to guide the seeker on the path.
So when you're reading for yourself during our learning period here,
Right.
is it necessary to have a question or just set an intention? Show me what I need to know today.
So I really would encourage, what are you resonating with in the morning? Or the time that you sit down with your cards. There were times that I have pulled 2 or 3 spreads. I need questions on this, I need questions on this, and I need answers on this, I need answers on this, and I need answers on that. Because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves either. And the ego likes to take the devil card and wreak havoc on us. I'm telling you this from experience. And then all of a sudden, I'm in a freaked out state of mind because I saw the devil card. It's happened. It doesn't happen as much now, but it's happened. It's not literally Satan is coming down, but Satan resides in each one of us. That's the fact. Satan is the ego. And when you're talking to people, that's the safest way to say, you know what, we have an ego, and the ego's not our amigo. The ego isn't on our best interest. That's why we do readings, because I want to make sure I'm staying in the straight and narrow. Okay, so we did all that. Wow, we covered a lot so far, guys. Any questions?
I had the devil on one of my days, but I did not take it in any bad form. when I
Good.
read it, when I had it with my other 2 cards.
Good. That's good, because it's only information and it's warning. When the devil comes up,
Yeah.
it's an opportunity to check in to see, am I going overboard? Am I being a little too, whatever it is that we might be doing? I'm overindulging in food, I'm overindulging in alcohol, I'm overindulging in shopping, whatever it is. Or,
And that's what it was. It was what I wrote down was watch for session, and it was it went with my other cards perfectly. So it was definitely a, hey Deb, you need to pull back on that.
right,
You know, you're spending too much money on those games.
yeah. Yeah. So, and you may find as you progress, you may read yourself every day. You may pull back to every other day. It really is all going to be dependent on what is going on. Now, when we read cards, like I said, we're in cycles. So, status quo is not necessarily our best friend. Status quo could be dangerous, which is how we get blindsided. That's why I encourage, make sure you're prayed up, make sure you're meditative, make sure that you are paying attention, because this kind of work helps us prepare for the inevitable stuff that's going to come down the line. The stuff is going to show up on our path. The stuff we don't like is going to show up on our path. And us as intuitives even can sense something's not right, or we may have a dream. You didn't get here by accident, not one of you. You're all intuitive and psychic in your own ways. And this is just one other device that you can use to have a better, stronger connection moving forward. And some of you will want to do this on a professional level. And the 3 card is such a great way to just kind of get informed. So I want to share with you the young lady who is in my class. Oh, here's another thing that I forgot to mention. It is, make sure you're stone cold sober when you read cards, no alcohol. And I would encourage to be conscious about whether or not you feel inspired to read for somebody who has consumed any alcohol or drugs. Mind altering. I'm not talking about medication. I'm talking about mind altering. So I wouldn't say do it at a party where there's alcohol being consumed. That it's probably not a wise decision. And we should never be under the influence when we read for somebody else. And that was brought to my attention because I was out and about. It's hard for me because I'm a sober woman. I never think about this. And I just assume everybody is sober. And I've got to take a step back and remind everybody that alcohol interferes with our connection. And other substances interfere with our connection. So we don't want to read somebody while under the influence. And we may want to not read for ourselves under the influence either. But she was doing a gig. She's a singer. She's an amazing singer, apparently. And I never knew this. And I've known this girl for over a year. And anyway, she was singing and she showed me, that's who showed me her new deck. And I'm like, wow, I really love that. I can resonate with that. I'm going to go get it. And I said, well, go ahead, read for me. And she goes, oh, wait a minute. I can't. I've been drinking. And I thought, wow, I didn't think about teaching that previously. So I'm teaching it now. I'm teaching it now. But she had a beautiful way of reading a 3 card, and I'm going to share it with you, and you may find that it works for you. Give me a second to pull it up because it's so simple, I can't remember it. No. So the first card would be, what do I need to know? Second card would be, what do I need to grow? And third card would be, what do I need to let go?
No, grow, let go.
No. See how simple it is? I forget it.
What do I need to know? What to grow?
Uh-huh.
What do I need to let go?
Yeah. So check that one out. See if it resonates with you. I just loved it. I thought, wow.
Okay.
So when you do your 3 cards next week, try that one.
What do I need to know? What do I need to grow? What do I need to let go?
Yeah. Yeah. And, you may find another way of reading. So as for example, I teach this in the intermediate, the 10 card, the year ahead. That came to me. I don't know if anybody else does it, but that came to me by spirit. And I'm like, I can't do that. I was deathly afraid when I first started doing that year ahead, to tell you the truth. And it was all like, what if, and what about this, and what about that? And I can't do that. And, oh my God, it was awful. The battle I went through was awful, but it became one of my main spreads. You have a couple of different spreads. You have the 5-card spread, which is read in many different ways. We're going to do this one next week. I want to stick with this 3-card spread for this week. And then next week and the following week, we're going to go into deeper detail on the 5-card spread. And then there is even bigger spreads than that, where you have, I would encourage you to use the sheet if you're going to do the bigger spread. This takes a lot of practice with the cards. So don't let it intimidate you, but this Celtic cross spread is huge. Can you see it? Oh
No, it keeps.
Oh, it won't let me because I have that thing. Let me get rid of it. That thing took, let me just see. Do I know how to do that now? Anybody questions?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So where'd you get that?
So this is,
There it is.
comes in the Easy Tarot book. It comes with the book, with this spread.
I didn't get that.
Now, this kind of spread would run about an hour and a half if you were to do this for somebody.
I don't think I got that in my book either.
I didn't either.
This came with the Easy Tarot. Not all of the tarot decks give you this.
That's the Rider-Waite deck, isn't it?
What? No.
That's the
This is the,
No.
no,
It's this one,
that one. Yes.
but I didn't get that.
I didn't get that either.
It- Oh, I was in my box.
It was? I didn't
Yeah.
get it.
It was in
Yeah, because it comes in like a kit. Where's my box?
Oh, I didn't even get that one.
Oh, I should
I
look in the
got
box.
the other cards.
So it comes in a kit like this.
Yeah.
And then it goes in here.
I've
What?
got the guild. I got that one.
Yes, you have the Gilded Tarot, but you didn't get the Easy Tarot kit.
No.
Okay. You can print these online. I wouldn't stress it because you can print it online. That Celtic cross spread. The spreads are varied. So it's really what's going to work for you. You found it.
Yeah.
But it is in the book.
It's in the book too. Yes.
It's in the gilded one. Yeah.
Yes. So it's an idea. Kathy, I didn't get a chance to welcome you in. Hello, hello.
Hi, I'm sorry, you guys. It's my birthday today, so
Happy
Happy
birthday.
yeah,
birthday.
we had dinner, and so it was kind of like the guest of honor can't go missing. So they weren't trying to understand. I had to get to this class, so
And you're
Yeah.
what, 22 today? Happy 22nd birthday.
that's right, girl. I've been turning it around. I'm 45. They say, my
So
daughter just
happy
now, she
birthday.
said 45. She said, you might want to add some more. I said, watch it, watch it.
I gave you life, I could take it away too.
Hey, watch it.
Oh, happy birthday. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get to readings.
Okay.
Let's get to readings. All right, so this is how it's going to go. Deborah, please read Trisha. Trisha, please read Angela. She's looking at me like I got 3 heads. Hello? Don't give me that gaze. All right,
Oh my gosh.
Deborah, Trisha, Angela, Kathy, Shelley, Brandy, Brandy, Deborah. Woo, I got out of that right now.
Okay.
I got out of that.
Are we doing just a one card?
Do a 3-card. Does anybody have a specific question, or do you want to just go with general?
So the way that I have been doing it is using the bottom card.
Okay,
And then pulling 3.
that's fine. That's
Okay.
quite okay. Whatever is comfortable. I started doing that when I did live streams. That came up. There was time when I would just read only from the bottom. It depended on how I was being guided. I still sometimes do that. So yeah, there's no, again, go with the intuition, go with the flow of what feels right to you. Because what they need them to know, we can't mess up because we're just a vessel.
Kathy, there you are.
Okay, so Trisha, I'm reading for you. Do you have a question? Or do you want general?
Let's do it general.
Okay. Oh,
Why are they singing happy birthday for me and I'm back here?
I just think it's so sweet.
I think they trying to draw me out, y'all.
I think so too.
all right. So Trisha, I have pulled 3 cards. I'm using the Gilded Tarot. And the first card I have is the Queen of Pentacles. And then the second card's a 9 of Wands, and the third card is the Tower. So with the Queen of Pentacles, what do I feeling here? You have to go to the book on that one. Sorry, guys.
No worries. I want you to do that. I want you to take your time. That's why I'm doing it. I'm starting it now.
Okay. So with the Queen of Pentacles, what the card says, and then I'll go back to what I feel with it, is she's strong, self-contained, and confident. And you've worked, and it says you have worked hard and well. You have created a life filled with physical pleasures and beauty through your skills and careful budgeting of resources. You take great pride in your practicality. People around you enjoy the fruits of your labor. But be aware of becoming fixated on end results and losing all joy. Which then next to that is the 9 of Wands. And with him, it's like he's, well, let me go to the book again.
Well, and your
I
intuition.
should just say what I see, but.
Say what you see. Let's go that route. And then we'll
Okay.
study those cards. Like, study those after you leave. And you can always send Trish a message.
Okay.
If that,
So what
does
I
that
see
sound
with-
fair to everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we already know. We're all here together while we're getting read. So,
You can use your cheat sheet.
So, yeah, I didn't print it off.
Oh.
I was the one that didn't. So the 9 of Wands to me, when I look at this card, I see someone that's tired. He's leaning down. I just feel that he's tired and worn out, and he's taking a break. And then with that, the next one is the Tower. And the Tower, to me, is that, someone's falling out of the tower. It looks like it's been hit by lightning. So when I see this and I put them all together, to me, even though with the Queen of Pentacles being, you know, the confident and everything, and enjoying what you have, it also was wanting you to be aware. So I'm wondering if maybe you're tired and you just need to take a break and rest before it all just blows up in your face. That's kind of brutal, I guess. Sorry.
It's okay.
But that's how I get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Trish, what do you think?
I can definitely relate to that. And I have been very tired lately. I haven't really had a lot of joy over the last week. I've had some medical issues that I've been dealing with. And so that was making me really tired. So I just did what I was supposed to do and rest. So in some ways, I do see that. I don't know if anything is, I hope nothing blows up in my
Well, now remember I said you have to rest and take care, you know, what you were just saying, take care of yourself or it will.
Right.
So,
Got it.
good.
So maybe I need more rest, you know?
You might.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Thank
never
you.
want to fight that. I'm just telling you from experience. When the body needs rest, we never want to fight that.
Right.
Just telling you something. Okay. So thank you, Deborah. Thank you,
Thank
Trisha. Trisha, you're up. And you're reading Brandy.
Angela.
right?
I'm reading
You're reading it?
Angela.
Okay. I'm sorry.
And I'm scared too.
Why?
Because Angela's good. I'm not as articulate. And I'm nervous, so I'm even less articulate. So forgive me if I just sound like a, well, bear
Don't
with
stress
me.
it. It's all good. We gotta start. Hey.
Okay. So the first card I pulled was the Queen of Wands. Isn't that what Debbie pulled too?
Hmm?
The Queen of Wands?
That
Yes.
shows up nearly like me at the moment.
The what? That's you at the
That's-
moment that fits? Okay. So, and then I pulled the Queen of Swords. So I have to cheat. So the Queen of Swords is complex, perceptive, cutting through illusion, cold and defensive. The Queen of Wands would be you're ambitious, hiding behind a mask, can represent twin energy, twin flame energy. So it's showing a lot of ambition for you. And then what was the other one? Queen of Swords. So, and then the Death card. So, I really don't even know what to do with this. So, because
Okay.
I may need some help on this. Endings and a rebirth. So I guess what I'm seeing then is that you have all these ambitions and you may have some struggles along the way and maybe need to close some doors in order for new doors to open for you.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on.
Awesome. Yay.
So that feeling when the death card goes up, I'm like, oh shit, what do I do with this?
Right?
That's not a
But you did it. And so now it won't be quite as creepy or scary. Now that
Right.
you've done it, you're like, oh, that's not so bad.
Right.
No,
Thank
I'm very much waiting for something to end. I have been on an arduous journey and I do have a lot of projects that I have waiting to begin. So yeah.
Awesome.
Spot
Thank
on.
you.
I love that. All right, who's next?
I was reading for Kathy. Is that right?
Yay, this is a happy birthday reading.
It is. And quite appropriately, the Nine of Cups has shown up for Kathy. So that's your life is full of abundance at the moment. You're happy and content. Your life is full. The celebrations are all around. And then your next card has come up with the Three of Wands. See that there?
Yeah, we have to be careful with the backgrounds. You can't see for some reason.
So the Three of Wands is you have made a decision. You felt that you've made a choice, and it's something that you're going to have to pursue. And the Eight of Cups has come up. I won't put it up, but again, it's pointing you towards that even though your life is full of good things, you feel that something's missing, and you're probably going to go on a journey to look for those things. So does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Beautiful. Any feedback, Miss Kathy?
I like. Did she do the third card? Or did you say 2 cards or 3?
I got 3 cards here. So Nine of Cups, Three of Wands, and Eight of Cups.
Oh, okay. Okay. I missed one then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Everything.
right.
But it resonated. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
A happy day.
It sounds like it. I love the little voices in the background.
I know. And believe it or not, that's only one. That's only one. She's full of energy. She called me this morning singing happy birthday to me. She says, Mommy, take me to my Nana's. I got to go over there so we can celebrate.
Oh,
So that's what we've been doing, celebrating. We have cake and ice cream to celebrate.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay, who is next?
Okay, I think Kathy is doing Shelly.
Woohoo! You guys all, see, here's what happens. You guys move in my awareness. So you were all in one spot, and now you're like in different spots.
Okay, I have a 2 of Pentacles. Okay, I'm going to use my cheat sheet.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I guess that's what it's for, though. Anyway, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I try to look at it. I try to look at the card first, just like you said. I look at the card first and try to see if I can't, try to figure it out, and then I kind of use my cheat sheet to see how close I was to being right or wrong. So the card, it has the 2 of Pentacles, that's Earth, and it looks like he's doing like a balancing type of thing, trying to balance. So on it, basically it says there's money in and out, adapting to change. But what I'm really, I guess, pulling on is the fact that it just says that right now, you have a lot of balancing to do. Hold on. Talk to your mom. Go talk to your mom. Go, get. You have a lot of balancing. I apologize. You have a lot of balancing to do. And it's different, but you're having difficulty balancing. It says disorganized and overwhelmed. I don't quite know how, Pam, I was supposed to pull all of that from this card.
Okay.
But nonetheless, that's what it says. Then I have a 9 of Pentacles. Yeah. This is basically saying that security home, you may have a purchase coming up. I don't know if you're in line to purchase anything, but purchasing something, enjoying the fruits of your labor, because you work so much or you have worked so much. It says that you basically should start trying to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Security, home, purchase. Do you live in your own home?
Yes, I do, but I think you're getting this card just because right now we're in the process of trying to sell our business, and so I think that's where it's coming from.
Oh,
Which
okay.
is good news.
Wow.
But yes, I do have a balancing act. We do work long hours every day, pretty much 7 days a week. So yes, that is correct.
Okay. And then the very last one is the star. The star, it says you have hopes, dreams, wishes, they're going to be fulfilled.
Yay, we're going to the hills of Georgia.
You know, it's kind of ironic. I asked the question, about something, and I did get pretty much the same cards. I got the star. I got the 10 of Pentacles today.
Mhm.
So
That's a good one.
so basically the same cards that I have been drawing for myself, you've actually drawn very similar. So that's awesome.
Ain't that
That's cool.
something? Hey, we manifesting it. Speak it with your mouth and believe it with your body. Hey, your mind. So
Yeah,
you
Good
and your
job.
husband, y'all on y'all way.
good job. How about that, Rita?
Isn't it?
That's beautiful. Good job. Really, good job.
Nice.
Thank you. Who's next?
I read Brandy.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Pam gets a little silly after like 6 p.m.
So the first card I got for you, Brandy, was the Death card, which is rebirth, transformation. The second I got is the Page of Pentacles. And the page I know has to do, it's more with a young man. I'm going to use my cheat sheet also here. So the page is a young student, could be also ambition, desire. It could be a lack of commitment. And then the third card I have for you is the World. And the World is completion, a nanocycle, fulfillment, and harmony. So the way I would look at this is you're going to have a change that is coming to you. And there's going to be either a younger person or even within yourself that you're going to pull back on and kind of like realize that, okay, I've got to get through this, and once I get through this, everything's going to be okay. And the World is just kind of saying, okay, at the end of this cycle, once this change occurs and you've gone through everything you need to establish with the page, then everything is going to come to a wonderful harmony, fulfillment end.
Wow.
Okay, I received that. I received that.
Awesome.
Thank
Love it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shelly.
You're welcome.
Okay, so who's next?
Me, I'm reading for Debbie.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna have to use the book. I didn't print the cheat sheet. The first card I got is the Seven of Pentacles. Is this? And okay, and the seven represents planting seeds for the future. It encourages looking at long-term investments. Okay. The second card is this Eight of Cups. And the eight suggests abandoning a disappointing situation. There may be material accumulations, but it is time to seek deeper goals. And for the last card, the third card is Seven of Wands. I'm coming. And the seven is with the public success of the, I'm sorry, with the public success of the six, competition is inevitable. Okay, this card represents
They're building from the 6 to the 7. So if it was consecutively ordered, it was because the 6 was the beginning of the hostility, and now 7 is it's culminated into something bigger.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
that clarification. Okay, so picks up that the this card represents the struggle to maintain position. So, wow. In the moment of reading it, I could feel it, but then after it's done, I can't. Like, it made so much sense when I read it, or I could feel it when I first read it, but then at the end, kind of shut off, and I can't go back to what I felt.
Okay.
And that makes sense. I mean, I'm sorry I interrupted because that's kind of how we get a little thrown off.
Oh yeah, I needed that.
So if you were to read that as a story, what are you getting?
I'm trying.
So tell me the numbers again.
With the pentacles, the planting the seed, and then noticing the walking away of the situation, and then again, see, that's what I said. I just read these together, they flowed together so well, and then just I got stumbled on this one trying to follow up with the 7, but the 7 of Wands, and about it was. Let me look at that again.
Okay.
Just to see that last. Yeah, from planting the seeds to walking away from the situation, and then the Wands. I felt it, but I couldn't express what I felt.
That's why we do this. This is a safe place, a safe haven to practice and to make the errors. We're going to make the errors. And and then you get questions and clarifications answered here.
And then this card represents the struggle to maintain position. So maybe there's an inner struggle what I feel from the walking away from the bad situation, and then this one which I have to refer to again, but yeah, it represents the struggle to maintain position. It's just something about it. 'Cause it
Standing
kind
your-
of,
being
say that
able to
again?
stand your ground.
yeah, it feels off to this felt good. And then this kind of is like a stuck, because it's the defense, like being in defense. This felt really good. The first card felt really good. The planting the seeds. So that's it. Yeah.
So
Now,
that's it. Go ahead.
Now, would that be one for a clarifier? You mentioned something about having one of each suit. Is that what you meant?
That could require a clarifier if we didn't understand who we would be in conflict with or over what would we be in conflict with. So it may require, if the querent of the seeker didn't understand what that meant, then we could say, okay, let me pull a clarifier. And then they would be more specific about what it didn't mean. So what it meant. You're talking about work, you're talking about the situation at home.
Okay, got it.
You know?
Thank
if
you,
they don't
Brandy.
say, oh, I know who that
You're
is,
welcome.
they may very well ask.
Okay.
You know? Awesome. Did I leave anybody out? Did everybody get read?
Yes, I believe so. For you.
Yeah, except for you.
Everybody except for me. So next week, somebody will read for me. This week, the only thing you're going to read is Pam needs rest. Pam needs rest. And I know I know they're telling me, but I can't yet. Things are, it's just a little crazy. Although I go to bed early, so there's no live stream tonight in case you were wondering. Okay, so we're going to continue to practice through for next week. Next week, we're going to open with some 5-card spreads. We're going to talk about how the week went, how you feel. If you have questions, that's what that little, you can either email me, you can send it through that link. And if you wanted to take a look you know, ask each other if you want to read for each other and do it on a separate message. That's also a good idea for practicing if you feel so inspired. We're here to learn, and we are all of the same frequency of ascension. And so that's the beautiful thing about being able to do this together, is that we want to be vessels of messages, of life-affirming messages, most importantly. And so we'll talk a little more next week about bringing in our divine team, our angels, our guides. And you can start now. Some of you may already be doing that, inviting your angels and guides in. I say it so often, so it might very well it just comes. So if you have, feel free to write out your questions for next week, and we'll put them as part of our topic of discussion. But in the meantime, any questions?
Should we be reading for family yet? Should we
If you
practice
feel-
on them or not?
If you feel comfortable enough to do so, you certainly can go ahead and do so, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I would certainly say if you feel comfortable enough to read, then go ahead and read.
Okay.
I would also encourage to keep an oracle deck close by.
I have to get that.
Yeah.
I love my
I don't.
deck. Fantastic.
Me too.
Because they're very similar messages, and it may be easier to catch on with a oracle deck as a helper or clarifier.
You have those on your website?
Oh, I have tons of them. Yeah, and I have these new ones.
Okay.
Look at how pretty these are. I just got these in last week. Called the Starseed Oracle. It depends on what this probably wouldn't be the one I would start with as a clarifier, but look at this box.
I saw that the other night
That's
when you were
cool.
on live. Yeah, I saw that you were using them the other night.
Yeah, yeah.
What's it
And
called
then
again?
this is called the Starseed Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. I'm
Cool.
just in love with this box. I
Yeah.
mean, I just like the kids, they like to play with the boxes. That's Pam.
That's funny.
But the deck is just stunning. I mean, look at the colors in here. This is very,
Beautiful.
you know,
Pastel.
very pastel. It does
Ooh,
talk more
pretty.
about Lemuria and Sirius and the stars and the Pleiades and star seeds and definitely different light bodies, crystalline grids, ley lines. So it's kind of really a little bit more. If you know about these things, it's a great deck to use. If you don't know about them, wait a little while. But it's certainly something that you would go to. Talking about frequency and sound, I don't think I could have dealt with this deck any sooner than I do now. Than now, you know what I mean? Talks about portals and so some of it makes sense, some of it is still, but then it's going into other realms that even I'm still learning about. But beautiful deck and it's fun. I think I did the energy for the group today with that deck, if I'm not mistaken.
You
All
mean
righty,
on your
guys.
live or for us?
No, I did it on the tarot, the free paid site, the tarot
Oh.
site. I did a 3-card spread on there. Actually, I think it was 4. All righty, guys. So if you don't have any questions, I will see you next week.
Okay,
I will
thank
send
you.
this link. I will try to fix that YouTube thing. I think I'll have some time tomorrow to fix the YouTube. I think what I have to do with that is invite you all in so that you have password access. If you have, I think I have all of your email addresses are correct in the orders when you submitted the orders for this class. So I'll just use those email addresses to respond to you guys.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks.
But
Everyone have a
Otherwise,
peaceful week.
we should just go on Zoom to be able to see it this time, like we did.
Yeah, I think you all probably had struggle getting in because I have to add you as users in there. I forgot about that little part. But yeah,
Okay.
use this link when I send it.
Okay.
All righty.
All
Happy
right.
birthday again.
Thank you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Kathy.
Kathy.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.